This week's episode of Recreators definitely takes it in a direction that makes Recreators at the core a very unique narrative story. There has been a lot of comparisons because there's been plenty of series that have done this kind of bring a different set of characters from different worlds into the real world. But this episode really makes it feel just quite different than all of the recent hits that have come out in recent years. The fact that the entire idea for the last 10 episodes of this series is more or less going to be building a cage. It's more of a metaphorical cage. Building a cage that is going to entrap Altair and essentially allow them to fight her head-on in a world that'll be more or less evenly matched so they can take her out. And that's really interesting because at the core, most of these series, once the characters are brought into the new world, that's it. Their past worlds just don't matter besides backstories for the characters, but instead, this series is going the route of saying, no, we need to continually write these characters. We need spin-off stories that are all going to foreshadow and link up together so we can get this cage built, a multi-narrative, like from different series, all linking up to one big end goal. The cage can be built within the story, which then will be brought into the real world, and essentially, they will all be in this one location together, and hopefully they will all have been given power-ups that have become, you know, permanent power-ups, not just one of those temporary ones. So for like the next, I think is like 6 months, they're going to be building up to this narrative so that once they get there, no one will know the ending. It's all going to, the ending is going to be made on the fly with the characters battling her. And that's interesting because most of these series, I can't think of one that went the route of they still were using the worlds to somehow solve the issue. Because like once Saber gets brought in from her world in Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night, like that's it. It's just, that's her character, we know her past, but that's it. And it's not to say that's not interesting, but this is far more intriguing just because we need to have the creators, we need to have these normal people who just wrote these stories, make these spin-off stories that are all going to foreshadow and link up to the end goal. Episode 20, episode 21, 22 is probably when this is all going to take place. We need them to all write this so it becomes a permanent mark in their characters, so that when this happens, they have this bird cage. They have this cage that can trap her, trap all the characters in it, so that they can fight her, and she won't have unlimited power-ups, which is really fascinating and makes this entire show just that more intriguing. But of course, that's not all that happened in this episode. We also get the conclusion to the Soda of kind of backstory, what happened with his friend, which, I mean, everyone should have seen the rest of it coming. Of course, he ignored her and pretty much kind of gave her a snappy response, which eventually she just felt like she had no kind of love or just friendship at that point, so she took her own life after giving one final goodbye message. So Soda, being ashamed of himself, ultimately deleted everything that he knew of her, contact messages, things like that, which of course he's going to blame himself, but at the end of the day, it wasn't his direct hand that caused her death, it was multiple hands that kind of pushed her over the edge. And in hindsight, he knows what he should have done, but in the moment, like anyone, it's easy to kind of feel that you're the only one that matters and not other people's feelings. So that was nice seeing the conclusion. It was quite sad, but we knew exactly what was going to happen there. But it's interesting to see how exactly she was brought into this world, Altair that is. Her creator was dead before she got brought in, but it gets revealed that essentially because of all these fan creations, all these fan videos, this like video of her like kind of playing her weapon like a violin, things like that, this is how it is. So as long as people keep making shit about her, in theory, she has unlimited power-ups that she can get because it's permanent marks that are being made constantly. And that's insane because this is why the birdcage is needed. If they don't get her in a location, she will just keep getting powerful and powerful. And what they need to do is write their characters in a strong state so they can go up against her. And that makes the entire thing interesting. And I think this episode is one of the best episodes of the series. It's really interesting how much laid the groundwork for the next, like, literally 10 episodes of the series. But at the same time, it wrapped up so much in terms of Soda's backstory, in terms of what happens there, but also just explaining exactly how she was brought in is really interesting. Sure, we still don't know, like, how is it that people's dreams and just how they connect with these characters, how does that bring it in? But at the end of the day, so many series are using magic, like they just have magic, and we accept that, so I'm not going to put it past that. We have a definition of how this is happening. I don't really need to see, like, a god come down and say, this was all my doing, or we need to have some magic circles or something like that. At the end of the day, they explained how the characters are coming into this world, and that's good enough for me. We can consider the rest of it magic in terms of why this is happening. This isn't grounded in reality, so characters coming in from anime and manga and light novels, that's not insane to me, but they did break down the nitty-gritty of it, so that makes it far more intriguing. and less plot hole-ish, you can say. This was a great episode of Recreators. Really, it's interesting how the main antagonist of the series can, in theory, have unlimited power-ups, and this whole birdcage idea and what they're building up to. That's interesting, and I saw a few speculate, what if they're gonna go super meta with this, and they make Recreators the anime within Recreators the anime? What if the birdcage is an anime that they're making with all of these characters coming together, and that's gonna be the metaphorical birdcage? That would be insane, and I wouldn't put it past them if they go that meta with it, and I kind of hope they do that way. But it'll be interesting to see how this next 6 months in the anime is gonna go within these next 10 episodes, and how that final battle is gonna go, because we know it's not gonna go smoothly. We're gonna lose some people here or there, and it's gonna be interesting to see what they pull with it. I mean, just overall, this was a really good episode. Nothing really kind of mind-blowing in terms of the art and animation, but it was consistent. That's all I really want out of this. But this was a great episode, and I can't wait to dive into episode 13, see what the hell they're going to do, and how all these characters are going to come together for this final battle. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Did you love the episode? Did you hate? Do you think it was just okay? Let me know your thoughts, and before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.